Alrighty. Let me give a quick breakdown on the proper way to take your clutch apart and the maintenance involved in it and putting it back together. This is how Alex does them.
So most of my clutches are all hubless, which that's a whole another thing we can get into one time, but like I don't typically run a hub on them because of 10-tooth stuff, but even if I run a bigger driver, I still run hubless because I just run the spacer. But take your drum off. I mean, always clean this out. Take a rag, just wipe it out. You just pull your driver out, clean that all up. Make sure there's not a lot of play in it. You know, just visually inspect that everything still looks like it should. If you get big notches in here, you know, it might be time to replace the basket. You see how this one's getting to be pretty notched out. And then you want to look at your notches on the inside here too, because your driver will shimmy in there and you'll get burrs on it. So this basket here is probably about done. A couple more in it. But then your clutch, typically what you're going to want to do is you mark your tabs. Some of them have marks on them, straight from the factory, some of them don't, but take a Sharpie, put a mark on each one of them. This one's going to get new discs in it, so not to worry about that right now. But what I always like to do is I go around and I break free all these 5/32. Break all these free. And they're really short, so it doesn't take much to undo them. Now I've previously built this clutch, that's why it looks the way it does, and all of the hardware I use is stainless, so you don't get any rust, because that is the biggest killer of your shoes and everything, is just that the rust, it'll eat away at them, and or your liners I should say. But yeah, so then I pull this off. Here's your discs, your floater plate, and then since this is going to go get remachined, I'd pull this right off the hub also. Remachine this, make sure it's still in tolerance and still in spec. Run it around on a surface plate. Same with this, make sure it's still flat, not warped. If it is any warpage or anything like that, we'll replace that. And then the main thing is it'll get new springs.
Now the color of the springs, so that tells you the tension of them?
Yes, you got red, blue, and black. And blues.
Now, do they have RPM ratings that
yes.
come with them?
Yep, blues are the heaviest. And typically you'll run blues on like a 4-spring. Or in my case, I actually use 6 blue springs on my clutch I use for my Outlaw motor, which is this is the clutch I use on my Outlaw motor actually, because I have this engaged at like 5,400 RPMs.
Wow. I'd think it'd engage a lot sooner.
Oh no, you want them super late, because the more RPMs you run, the more power you have, the more torque you have. You want your clutch to engage with your torque. Otherwise, you'll create a lot of like slippage and you'll like bog the engine down. So if you have it engage with the torque, it'll come up evenly, I guess. There's no power loss that way.
Right.
And yeah, that's clutch taken apart. So to go through a maintenance at all, or to rebuild it, or however, so your weekly maintenance, you're going to go through and you're just going to wipe all these surfaces down.
Anything specific to use or stay away from?
Don't use any oils, for sure.
So a carb cleaner would not be the ideal thing to use?
No, not at all. Typically, a lot of guys like to take them and they'll put them in like a bucket of acetone, or like a little cup of acetone, which is totally fine and it's safe for the liners. I personally, weekly, I just blow them out. Blow everything out really good and run it until it needs to be rebuilt again. I mean,
now there's no as far as the bearing goes on it, is there any sort of oil that you should be
So-
running on a bearing?
I like to take, so on the needle bearings on your driver, these right here, I like to take just a little tiniest drop of the red high temp grease and just kind of pack it into the bearing. And that's all I run. This is the only thing I lube on a clutch.
Yeah, grease is not something you want to get on the clutch to begin with.
No, so it's the tiniest, just a little droplet of it on your finger, put it on that bearing, and that's it. But otherwise, as far as like the thrust bearings and whatnot in them, I don't lube them at all. When they are worn out, I just replace them. Because otherwise, you're just going to sling, like this clutch here, they lubed all their stuff on the inside, and it slung all that stuff around in there. And it makes a mess. It gets on your liners. It's how your liners end up getting all dirty, and they look like that. Which, I mean, this clutch here, this ran probably 6, 7, 8 shows, and it's still, you know, they don't look dirty, nasty. You can see they've been ran a lot because they've got the wear in them. But otherwise, if you start getting that grease and whatnot, I know you're gonna get dull and dirty.
So the other one, so the disc actually acts like the pressure plate.
So yes, you have a pressure plate still because you're getting pinched. So that's where your abrasive material for grippage, I guess, is your liner, and that's what spins when you're like at idle and whatnot.
Right.
And then when under full lockup, it presses all these together. When they all get pressed together from this plate, and then so these are at idle, they're spinning in your basket, but then when these get pressed together and locked, that's how they cause your basket to start propelling forwards.
And that's what the levers are for, that the springs are all attached with.
Correct. They push that out to pinch those. It's a really fantastic concept. It really is. Like, Bully developed, I'm pretty sure Bully developed the whole idea of it all, and every clutch on the market is similar to that. I mean, they set the standard of how a disc clutch works, really. I mean, there's really no other way to do it, I guess. But I mean, there's other guys, like, I've tried doing prototype stuff and trying to change things around, and some of it works, some of it doesn't. This one does not work. That's why it's still sitting here. I've tried everything with this clutch, and it either locks up, it locks up too hard, it doesn't disengage, and it's a mess.
I see that one's got 4 on it, and
yep,
the other one's got 6. Now,
so some of them got 6, some of them got 4. This one has 8 levers.
Now the springs, I noticed they're blue on that.
Yep, because it's 4 spring, so you need a little bit more pressure to hold it back versus when you have 6 springs. You know, you've got 2 more
Right.
for the pressure.
Now the blue ones you wouldn't run on the 6-pin one then.
Not unless you're doing like what I use them for, trying to engage at 5,400 RPMs. But as far as a ghost or a clone, you'll never be able to get the engagement right with the blue spring.
Okay. I see. Yeah, see, this is all new to me, and these clutches have kind of baffled me. And I mean, I had an idea how they worked, but I didn't realize the lever. I was thinking the lever went the other way, but they go the opposite way I was thinking.
Yeah, this here is actually an old Hortzman that I converted to run Bully discs.
I have a Hortzman. An old Hortzman. Thing's huge.
You probably have one of the old Hortzman Reapers.
I think that's what it is too, if I'm correct.
Boat anchor.
Yes, thing's got some weight to it.
Oh yeah. But I mean, I love these. Right here's a Bully 4-spring. It's actually a 3-disc.
Now the 3-disc, that's more for a higher power motor, or
Yes, and it also is very helpful for a heavier weight driver because it less slippage for getting the guy moving.
Right. So you get somebody that comes in at 250 pounds or better, more than likely you're going to sell them one of these 3 discs.
3 discs.
Than over a 2 disc,
Yep.
just because of the wear and.
Yes, they'll have a lot less wear and tear on a 3 disc than they will on a 2 disc. On a 2 disc, they're going to be rebuilding it all the time, just because it's just you're going to eat up liners. It just that clutch, you're making it labor a lot.
Now, is there any prep that you do on the titanium disc before they go in? I mean, I know you got an old set there, but I noticed on some I can see some marks and stuff.
I know
on
that's.
them.
I was trying to find to see if I had anything. Oh, right here's a fresh one that I've done fresh machined.
Yeah. See, that's something that I've noticed on the one clutch I got from you is that way. I didn't know if that's common on all of them or if that's something that you do to them to help them come in
So
a little bit more aggressively.
So they definitely, my pattern definitely can make a clutch come in way more aggressively than some others. Whereas like a lot of guys have a different kind of grind. It's more of a, I guess it's more of a grind,
Right.
straight pattern. So I mean, yeah, it's definitely every clutch builder has their thing. That's, I can't say mine's perfect. They can't say theirs perfect. You know,
Right.
it's what works. And I mean, I would definitely say my clutches work because
You use them, and I know a lot of people that do use them.
I mean, for an instance, Collins runs my clutches, and they never had a clutch issue all year. O'Hara runs my clutches. There's a lot of guys that were on them, and we had a lot of success.
Yeah. They look, to me, they're very intimidating looking, but watching you tear it apart, I don't seem to be too intimidated.
No, there's just, if you pay attention to how they came apart, there ain't nothing to them. And I mean, my clutch that I build, I really wish I had one to show you, but I loaned both of them out. But mine are even simpler. There's only 2 or 6 bolts that hold the whole thing together. Yeah, it's titanium. They're way lighter than.
You get your clutches back. We'll have to do one so we can see how
yeah.
Alex does his clutches.
I'll have to bug Jaden to bring him up to me. He's just down the road pretty much.
And it's that simple to tear a clutch apart. And it goes back together, pretty much the same steps, right?
Oh yeah, just as long as I'll go through the process. I will check all the tolerances and everything, make sure everything's still true and square and straight. And if it's not, it either gets if there's enough metal there to remachine it to bring it back into tolerance, because we're talking a couple thousandths. 2-3 thousandths is all it takes to bring a clutch back to straight. If there's enough there, then yeah, we'll remachine it, bring everything back into tolerance, and put it back together.
Now, is there any torque that goes on the bolts when you're putting it back together?
So the only ones, these on the back here, I do a good hand tight, like good and tight. These here, I like to put my inch-pound torque wrench on and torque these ones. And I believe it's like 35, 40 inch-pounds. It's not a whole lot, but
Right.
it's enough to know that it's not going to come apart.
And the same with the springs, or do they just get...
Speaking of
Down.
Cole Nelson,